Shalom, shalom. This is Shalomar from the Great Millstone Atlantic Camp. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honor to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone that teach and rule well. Peace, love, and safety to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, who are today you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and also the Israelite foreigners. They're like the other nations, but your bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. To you all, I say shalom. And this is another lesson from the website, the end of the AmericanDream.com. And this particular article is on point as far as how the internet has destroyed people, but at the same time, it's helping people as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and read it. It says Americans spend nearly half of their days online, and young people are more suicidal than ever. Yeah, because the internet kind of tells you or shows you different things, and you try and fit your way in it. You try and fit yourself in certain things as far as styles or music and different trends, and just think that it's going to be even more people being suicidal once the internet goes down, because the internet is going to ultimately it's going to be the Lord that does it, but the internet is going to go down. Okay. And it says our society is more addicted to the internet than ever. So how has that affected us? Are we happier than we once were, or are we less happy? And yeah, people are less happy, because I always tell my children about how it was growing up in the 80s and the 90s. And of course, other brothers can agree. We spent all of our days outside. We were playing sports. We were riding bikes. We were just exploring through the woods, walking through creeks, fishing, doing all kind of stuff. All right. We had pets. We had dogs. We walk our dogs. Yeah, we spent a lot of time outside, and that physically that made us stronger. So this new generation is, they spend a lot of time just in the house, on phones, looking at TV. The most we'll do is be outside playing basketball and have a radio going with a tape player or a CD player. To get our music, but we was playing ball at the same time. We was active, we was athletic, and there's nothing you can do outside that cause you to be suicidal, unless somebody just bullied the crap out of you. And bullying wasn't that big now. Now you got cyberbullying, where people will post things online and you get all these negative comments, and folks just can't handle it. Well, it wasn't like that back then. If you was bullied, it was like one person. But then again, you always had that one person or a few people that you were friends with that helped you out. And most children now don't even have friends. They just go online and they have people that they talk to online. But it's not a real true friendship. But I'm gonna continue. It says we're more mentally healthy than we once were, or are we less mentally healthy? I don't have to give you the answer to those questions, because you already know. Our society has gone completely nuts, and our suicide rate has soared. And yeah, it have. It wasn't as big as it was before the internet came. The internet got big right around I want to say 99 to the year 2005. That's when more and more people started getting the internet installed in their homes and getting computers. Right around that 99 time, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. And then after like 2005, it was like major. It was like a necessity. Everybody had internet then. That's when cell phones, people started getting cell phones. Because back in the 90s, we just had pagers. They had a beeper. If someone was trying to call you and you was outside doing something, or if your parents was trying to reach you and you was at a friend's house, they'd page you and then you just call back. It was very simple. Living was very simple. You hung out with the same people, you grew up with them, and some people you still know, 20, 30 years later. But now it's not like that. Imagine how this place will be in 20, 30 years if the Lord allows us to go that far. This place has to come to an end. And we're going to get in some scriptures in a minute. But main scripture I thought about was wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And that's in 2nd Esdras 15. I'm going to get that in a minute. It says, in particular, we are seeing historically high levels of suicide and depression among our young people. We have a major national crisis on our hands, but hardly anyone is talking about it. And I was just talking to my daughter tonight, my oldest daughter. She's 18, and she say that she's stressed. And I'm like, what are you stressed about? You don't really have bills, because now I stress about how am I going to, if it's a bill or something, or, make sure the house has food, things like that. We kind of try and figure out how we're going to get it from it. And it could take a toll on you, but now the life of certain people are just built in online. But it says life is supposed to be about much more than that. Yes, the internet can be used to do really good things, just like this truth. As a matter of fact, it's going to say that. It says, personally, I use it to share the truth with large numbers of people all over the globe. But the internet also brings out the very worst in humanity. Yeah, they say it's a dark side or the dark web or something like that. And I heard people talk about things that they saw, and I'm like, that's enough to keep me away from it. Certain things that people talk about in the dark web, I'm like, I don't want to see nothing like that. It'll put demons on you. At the time that we're trying to get as righteous as possible in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, so we can seek salvation or receive salvation, it's just not the time to be looking at the dark web and all of that, seeing all kind of wicked stuff. I believe most of the internet, or a large portion of the internet, is porn. A lot of it is violence. A lot of the movies you see is violent. The most we'll do, it was like two categories, really. Of course, well, it was drama. You had, because the movie that was big back in our days was Boys in the Hood, Miss Society. And it was a lot of violence in that. But it told a story of, what the hoods looked like when people never been there or never, heard of it, or, it just told a story of how certain people live. But now they making it seem like it's the cool thing to do. All right, the music, back then it started to destroy people's minds. It started to, but now it's completely taking people way left. Like, this music is horrible. This new stuff, especially these new female rappers. It says, in this stage, the internet is absolutely teeming with just about every sort of evil that you can possibly imagine. And most of us spend an enormous amount of time waddling around in that cesspool. In fact, a recent survey discovered that Americans with a home internet subscription spend nearly half of their day online. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. I know I'm online at work because that's how we get our jobs and our orders and stuff done. But also, you can listen to brothers' videos on YouTube. Brothers got videos on TikTok. TikTok bring out some good information, but it's a lot of wicked information on there as well. A lot of these social media platforms is just filled with wickedness, and people are pretty much that's their life. So yeah, this article is on point. It can be used for good things. Actually, it was created. The Lord actually put the internet out there to put out the truth. Let's start getting some scriptures because, um, like I said, what was that? Second Ezra 15, and let's go to verse 10. Actually, it's verse 6. It says, "For wickedness had exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore said the Lord Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually." Yeah, and the righteous is crying out to the Lord. We tired of this stuff, but it's we have to separate ourselves from it. That's what makes you holy. It keeps you're separating yourself from the wickedness of this world. All right. It's a lot of the alphabet stuff, the alphabet people. It's a lot of their stuff on there. It's kind of like they're forcing you to see it. TV, they're forcing this stuff on you and your children. A lot of the music you hear, you don't even want to listen to it, but you hear the same song so much, it'll just you get kind of used to hearing it, and it's just something that you don't want to hear. It says, "And therefore said the Lord Yahweh, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them." So the Lord is watching everything. He watching who's putting this wickedness out, which a lot of this stuff is done by Amalek. We already know who Amalek is, the small hats. They control a large portion of the wickedness that's online and Hollywood, the movies and the music. But then again, you got Great Millstone putting out large numbers of videos daily, loading up YouTube, loading up TikTok, and people are seeing the truth. They're hearing the truth. So it's a small part of it that's righteous, but it's a large part of it that's complete wicked. Let's go to Matthew 24, because this is how the word is preached throughout the earth. Matthew 24 and where is it? Verse 14, it says, "And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." And how is that being done? It's not being done by, you putting on purple and traveling over to Africa and trying to force it on people. No, people are going to look at it online, and they're gonna take heed to it. They're going to listen. They're going to follow. And if they have that right spirit, then they're going to continue in the faith. All right, it's already out there for them. We don't have to really travel. And then if they want to, they can go out and start teaching the same thing in their area. That's how everything is. That's how this word is being preached around the world and to all nations, and it is. You have men of Great Millstone everywhere. You have men that teach the same doctrine of a Great Millstone everywhere, all nations, and those are Israelites. All right, so yeah, the internet can be used for mostly wickedness. but there is a small amount of righteousness that's being pumped out through the internet. All right, but like I said, the Lord is about to destroy all of this. As a matter of fact, we're gonna close up on this Amos 8 and I think it's verse 11. Kind of it says, "Behold, the days come," said the Lord Yahweh, "that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord Yahweh." And how is he going to do that? The internet is going to be taken down, because now you have AI and Chat GPT, and it's a lot of truth in that. There's a lot of truth in Chat GPT. Esau he's gonna have to take it down, because it's telling who they are, and it's telling on who we are. And then this word is just it's gonna be a large multitude that's gonna come into this thing in the latter days. Well, we're in the latter days, but like in the last few seconds, those 11th hour Israelites, or 11 o'clock Israelites. So yeah, I mean, the article was spot on as far as talking about how people are now suicidal, because it's a lot of females. They use these filters, and people actually try and go out and look like the filters. They don't see how these people actually look. And trying to think, it was a video. This guy exposed his woman. Her filter went off when she turned her head, because it has to you know how it works. I can't even really explain it, but she turned her head and the filter went off, and then when she turned back, it was off for a quick second, and it came back on, and she looked totally different from what it looked like. It almost made her look kind of exotic. Lighter complexion, real smooth skin, makeup, eyelashes, all of that, different color eyes, but it looked real almost. And then when that filter went off, I was like, oh man. And she was one of them women that was talking, putting down men. And we see why, because how you look and how you trying to make yourself look. So yeah, things like that. A lot of the bullying, cyberbullying, people are just trying to live an imaginary life of what they see online and TV, and they can't live those lives, and they get depressed, and it eventually causes them to be suicidal. All because of the things Amalek got a lot of blood on his hands. That's why that judgment for Amalek is going to be great. It's going to be great. Esau as a whole is going to have the worst judgment in history, because of the way that they ruled this earth. Even though the Lord allowed them to do it, they went way far and beyond, and just showed exactly who they are, the devil. All right. So I pray this lesson was edifying. Once again, this article is from the end of the American Dream. It's lucky for all the advertisements. I've been looking at tires, so they watch you and they put this stuff up based on what you've been looking at. I don't know what that is, but yeah, this was a pretty good article. And let me read this. It says, "If you endlessly put garbage into your mind, you are going to get garbage out." Exactly. They say you are what you eat. You pretty much are what you see. Also online, it turns you into that. That's why if you looking at certain things, you gotta limit yourself. Sometimes I catch myself listening to bad music, and I gotta cut it short. Put on some jazz or something. All right, so So yeah, I pray this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rahakudash. Double honor to my elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Shalom to the elect.